half a mile from the ocean. So I figured I'd come down here and make a quick video for y'all. So on my Facebook page, I had asked everybody, hey, if you have any questions about my hike or about anything in general, go ahead and ask them and I will do my best to answer them. So that's what this video is. So the first question that I was asked, that I'm going to answer because it's the easiest, is have I ever hiked the Appalachian Trail through before and what prompted me to do it? Well, I have definitely never done a through hike before. This is my first attempt at a through hike. I have hiked sections of it. 1 weekend at a time. I've gone out for 3 nights, 4 days at a time, several times. I've hiked everything from the approach trail, which doesn't count as part of the Appalachian Trail. It's the trail that gets you to the trail. All the way on up to Fontana Dam. If I was still section hiking, the Smokies would be where I'd be picking up, because that's basically where I left off. I'd start at Fontana Dam. I have never done more than 3 nights, 4 days before. So doing a through hike is a little bit intimidating, but really it is an infinite series of 3 or 4 nights, 4 or 5 nights going into town, and then doing another 3 or 4 nights going into town. So it really is a series of mini hikes all strung together. So there's that. I have not done it in one continuous swoop before, but I'm going to give it a shot now. Now, as for what motivated me to do it, oh, it's a little windy out here. I have always wanted to hike the trail. Always. Alright, this wind is annoying, I'm sorry guys. I have always wanted to hike the trail ever since I was a kid. Not even really knowing anything about it. It was just always somehow there in my mind. And when I first started hiking at the age of 47 and 120 pounds overweight 5 years ago, it was, no, 4 years ago, it was with the goal and with the dream of one day hiking the Appalachian Trail. It's just always been there. It's something I've always wanted to do. And the first time I set foot on the trail, May 8th, 2021, was my first overnight backpacking trip. And I did the approach trail. And I was in love. I was in love with the trail immediately. The trail, her people, everything about it is magic. And so once I had set foot on the trail, it was game over. The trail got in my blood. The people became part of me. And I can't not hike the trail. I have to hike the trail. It's beautiful, it's magic, and I've got to do it. Okay, so another question was asked on my Facebook page. There are 2 questions. I'm going to combine them into one. The first one is, how are you preparing for hills? And, whoops, it almost got me. And what is your training regimen? And wow, honestly, you can see where I live. There are no hills here. I've lived here since December, and quite frankly, the lack of hills has been freaking me out. It has been very, very hard to adjust to not being anywhere near a mountain. It's been a lot harder than I thought it would be, honestly. So preparing for hills, honestly, right now I'm not. I'm just not. You know, I don't have the money to join a gym, and I don't have time to join a gym anyway, even if I did have the money. And yeah, so preparing for hills, I'm not. But I do go up and down a lot of stairs, excuse me, doing Walmart deliveries every day. A lot of these deliveries, sorry guys, are like on the 3rd floor with like 20 bags. So I'm going up and down stairs a lot. My knees don't like it, but you know, that's as good as it's going to get for hill training. Now the good news is that, you know, up until December I did live in Georgia and I did hike regularly. And as I said, I have hiked the first 167 miles of the trail, so I am not currently in hill condition, but it's not going to take long to get me there. So really, yeah, training for hills, I'm just not. I have no hills to train on. Yeah. So, yeah. And the other thing they were asking about is my training regimen. Again, I was hiking every single Saturday. Here, of course, again, as you can see, my hikes here have been completely flat. Of course, I can do 5 miles in like a ridiculously quick amount of time because there's no challenge to it. It's just walking on flat ground. So I am hiking once a week, albeit on flat land, and doing DDP yoga 3 to 5 days a week. Now, in all honesty, I have not done any kind of exercise in 2 weeks because I had bronchitis and I was sick and could not do a darn thing. Any movement set off a massive coughing spree. So again, I'm behind the 8 ball on that. So starting this week, I'm getting back into my DDP yoga, which is not like regular yoga. If you're not familiar with it, it's calisthenics, it's strength, it's flexibility, it's core, it's everything all world. It's basically if you threw calisthenics and physical therapy and yoga in a blender and squished it all up, that's DDP yoga. It's a lot tougher than traditional yoga. It has a different focus and a different purpose. So I'm going to get back into that. But really, in terms of training, yeah, again, I'm going to be behind the 8 ball on that. I'm going to be, I have a certain baseline of fitness. I guess I'm very much average level fitness, you know, average 52-year-old grandmother fitness. I'm not unhealthy, but I'm not in the peak athletic condition I was 2 years ago. So I'm going to be, you know, the trail is going to have to really whip me into shape, and it definitely will. It's just going to be really, really more difficult at the beginning than it should be. Because again, I am starting behind the 8 ball and there's only so much I can do. So I'm going to start the trail with very, very low mileage, 5-6 miles a day for that first week. I'm not going to push it because a lot of people get injured from pushing too hard, too fast, and especially if they're not used to mountains or not in absolute peak physical condition. You can hurt yourself real easy. So I'm going to start slow, very slow pace, which is really the only pace I have even when I'm in perfect shape. So I'm going to be going slow and low mileage, slow and low, especially for the first few weeks. After the first 3 weeks, I feel like I'll be in a better position to increase the mileage gradually, and it's just going to snowball from there. So hill training, not really. Otherwise, training regimen, DDP yoga, hiking when I can on this nice flat ground, and I'm winging it. Winging it. If I had more time to prepare, I would have a much more thorough training plan and much more intentional, but this was kind of sprung on me last minute, and so I just gotta take it and run with it. So another question on my Facebook page is, what are you anxious about and what are you most excited about? So I'll start with the excited about part first. I'm excited. I'm always excited to be on the trail, always. The trail is my happy place. The trail is what I love the best. The trail and its people are magic, and the trail and its people are my heart. So I'm just excited to be out there to begin with. I'm excited that I get to go out there and stay out there. I don't have to stress out about getting to a certain point by a certain day because I have to be at work on Monday. I'm just excited that I will have more freedom, more flexibility this time. I'm excited to experience through hiking, or at least as far as I can get. I am starting right in the middle of the bubble on the day when more people start than any other time. So the energy of a bunch of hikers getting started at the same time, being around all these other hikers. I am excited to go to the Amicalola State Park Visitor Center and get my little 2025 through hiker hang tag for my backpack. I'm really excited about that, because that's going to be one of my most precious prized possessions. I'm excited about being on the other side of Trail Magic. Usually it's me cooking and feeding people, and this time I'm going to be on the other side of it, so that's going to be fun. But I'm hoping along the way somebody will let me sneak in there and help cook and serve, because I like doing that. That's a lot of fun to me. That's going to be fun. Just really, the whole experience is going to be amazing. I'm also excited to finally be able to stay at a hostel along the way. I have never, in any of my section hikes, stayed at a hostel. I've never, gotten off trail and stayed at a hotel or a hostel. None of that. So I am really excited to experience that side of thing, that side of everything. Just really all of it. And, my mission with this hike is to inspire and encourage people who have come from backgrounds of abuse, who feel like they could never do anything so difficult as this, who feel like their life is over, there's just nothing they can do, it's too late for them to dream, it's too late for them to do great things, it's just too late for them, and they're just trying to survive until they die. Because I've been that person, and sometimes it's easy to slip back into that for a minute. So I'm doing this not just for myself, but for all of y'all, so that you can see if some old chubby chick like me can do it with all I've overcome and gone through, then there's hope for you too. Whatever it is, whether it's hiking the trail or getting your GED or getting that college degree or whatever your goal is, it's doable. So I'm looking forward to sharing my trip with everyone. Not just the happy stuff. You're going to see me cussing. Sorry in advance to all my priest friends. You're going to see me crying. You're going to see me sweating. You're going to see me questioning every life decision. You're going to see the good parts. You're going to see the bad parts. You're going to see the in-between parts. You're going to see it all. And I just really am hoping that it will provide some kind of encouragement to someone out there, even if it's just one person. That sounds like a cliche, but it's true. If I can provide some kind of encouragement, that's my goal. So those are all the things I'm excited about, and I'm sure there's more, but just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so another question, of course, is what am I most anxious about? Oh, so many things. That's the easiest and longest answer I can give. Everything. I am by nature a very anxious person, and I'll let you in on a secret. Those who know me in real life know that this isn't a secret to them, but every time I go on a section hike, I am literally terrified about something. Like anxious to the point where I am waking up at night from anxiety over, this mountain or this obstacle or this part of the hike that is scaring me to death. So I am always scared and anxious before any hike. But at this point, I've just learned it's just kind of there and it's not going to stop me. It's a thing. I just deal with it. Okay, I'm scared. So what? So yes, of course, super high anxiety about just everything in general. Now, to get to the more specifics of what am I afraid of and anxious about. Well, obviously the big one is money. I've got $3,000 to start with. I'm hoping to save a minimum of 1,000 more by the time I go. I'm gonna have to be extremely austere on trail, extremely, and I'm just gonna trust that the trail will provide, God will provide. And I'm gonna go for Maine. I'm trying to go for Maine. I don't know if I'll get there. I don't know how far I'll get, but I'm gonna go for it. And I figure I will get exactly as far as I need to be. God threw this opportunity at me, and I don't know what his reason is, but here's the opportunity, and I'm going to get as far as I am meant to. So yeah, I am obviously anxious about money. Everyone is anxious about money, so that's nothing unique. The other thing I am anxious about, probably the fact that I am, believe it or not, nobody believes this, but I am an introvert. And in real life, I am extremely socially awkward. So I kind of feel like, you know, the little nerdy kid in school sneaking up to the cool kid's lunch table and trying to sneak in and sit down without being noticed. The imposter syndrome, the man, I don't feel like a real hiker, man, I don't feel like I belong here. You know, am I gonna be so awkward I'm that person that everybody makes fun of or gossips about? Oh, her. So that's my little social anxiety popping up. The other thing I'm afraid of, which is a very real consideration, it's not a thing just in my head, is some kind of injury or something taking me off trail. Twice, you know, I've done a lot of section hikes, never more than 3 nights, 4 days. Twice I have planned 10-day section hikes. Both times I had to bail out on day 3. The first time because I had a severely sprained wrist. I had fallen on day 2, sprained my wrist so severely that I couldn't function when I got to camp. I couldn't lift anything, I couldn't grip anything, I couldn't set up my tent, I could not function. So hiking solo as I do, I didn't have anyone to help me get through the rest of my hike, so I had to go home on day 3. The second time, I had a 10-day hike planned. I was going to do the last 40 miles of Georgia. And I woke up the morning of day 3, sick as a dog, with fever, body aches, chills, severe congestion, you know, hot, cold, misery. Turns out I had COVID. And I would not recommend hiking down into Unicoi Gap with a 30-pound backpack and a fever, body ache, chills, and COVID. 0 stars, do not recommend. And obviously I had to bail. Now, of course, both of those times, once I recovered, I went back and continued section hiking, and I got all the way to Fontana Dam. But the very real fear is, you know, I always say I have, you know, the 4-day curse. Am I going to make it past day 3 without something happening? So I always get a little anxious. What's going to happen on day 2? What's going to happen on day 3? So I am very anxious. I know most people who go home end up going home because of some kind of injury. You know, are my knees going to hold up? I'm going to have my knee sleeves with me. Am I going to fall off a cliff or step on a copperhead? Or I know stepping on a copperhead is rare, but this is me we're talking about, you know. I'm not scared of snakes so much as I'm scared of not seeing them until it's too late. Yeah, so I'm not really afraid of the animals or anything. I'm not really afraid of the people. I'm just afraid of getting hurt and having to go home way before I'm supposed to. My goal is to be on trail as long as I have the money to be on trail, honestly. My goal is to not leave for any reason other than one of 2 things. A, I make it to Katahdin and successfully summit, or when I'm absolutely out of money and can't go any further. In my head, those are the only 2 reasons I'm getting off trail, period. But I also know real life happens. There could be some kind of emergency at home. I could get sick, I could get hurt. Now the good thing is about a through hike, you know, if I'm sick for 3 or 4 days, no big deal. I can hole up in a hostel or my tent or something and be fine. Whereas on a section hike, you get sick. Okay, you're out there for 4 days and you're sick for 5 days. It's not going to work. You have to go home. You know, sprain a wrist. Okay, you know, you're on a section hike for a weekend, you got to go home. On a through hike, there's more time. I don't want to be because it will eat up money that I don't have. But if I need to, I can hole up somewhere and recover a bit. So there is a little bit more freedom there. But yeah, I am anxious about something happening to where I would have to get off trail way before I'm ready to. Another thing I'm scared of is the cold. I hate cold weather. Now I have all the cold weather gear. I have literally a 4-season sleeping pad. I could sleep on a glacier with that thing. I have a 10-degree quilt. I have all the layers. I have everything I need. And I have forced myself to camp in 20-degree weather before. Way before I ever knew the scholarship existed. Since day one of me hiking, I have planned to be on the trail one day. So I have intentionally put myself in situations that I know I'd encounter on trail. Rain, cold, wind, heat, all of it. So I know I can successfully hike and camp in cold weather. However, I've only done that for one night at a time. So yeah, the idea of hiking day after day after day after day in the cold is a little bit intimidating for me. I mean, I know I can do it. It's just not something I've done before. And I hate the cold so much. I am so not a fan of the cold. So again, that's the mental thing. You know, they say they say a through hike is more mental than anything. And so that's the mental part that's gonna screw with me is, you know, the cold. Now I know for a fact I can hike in the rain because it's gonna rain a lot. I did a 4-day section hike. I forget where I was going. It was whatever section Tray Mountain is in. And every single day it was torrential downpours. All 3 days. And part of the 4th when I was waiting for the shuttle. When I was waiting for the shuttle, that's when it decided to stop. Because of course it did. So I know I can hike in bad weather. Hiking up Tray Mountain when it was raining so hard that I was literally hiking up a creek. I know I can handle that. And as a side note, that was when I finally felt comfortable saying, yes, I'm a real hiker. Because before that, I'm like, oh, I'm not really a hiker. I just do day hikes and weekend hikes and whatever. And now after that, I was like, okay, I earned at least a little bit of street cred, so I can say I'm a hiker now. So I know I can hike in rain, and I know exactly how miserable it is. I know I can camp and hike in cold weather. Just the idea of doing it day after day after day, that's going to be the hard part. So the whole mental side of it, of this is what I'm doing all day, every day, no matter what, that's going to be the tricky part. On the other hand, I get to do this all day, every day, no matter what. This is like my job right now. This is walking that way, up northwards, up these giant hills and down these giant hills and seeing all the cool things and all the cool people. And but yeah, it is a lot bit intimidating to realize that it's not going to be 4 days and go home. It's going to be 4 days, walk into town, get supplies, walk right back out into the woods because I don't have the money to stay every time, and keep going. My goal, incidentally, is to do a 0-day in town, stay overnight, every other resupply. I saw somebody on YouTube who said that's how they stretched their very thin budget to last until Maine. So I'm going to try that. Every other stay, I'm going to be in a hostel. I'm not going to stay in a hostel or a hotel every time. Just every other time, to try to make that stretch as far as possible. And of course, you know, when you plan things for the AT, you know, you make a plan and the trail laughs at you. So I have ideas in my head, but really it's go with the flow, wing it, take it as it comes. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's all the things I am anxious about. I'm sure there's more because like I said, I am generally a giant bundle of anxiety. Pretty sure I have anxiety about my anxiety. But yeah, in a nutshell, those are the big things that, you know, off the top of my head that I'm anxious about. So if y'all have more questions that you would like me to answer, please put them below. And I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video. I would really love to make it to 1,000 followers. That would help support my hike and my goal a lot. So click the link, click the little bell, follow. You can also follow me on my Facebook page, which is also Catwoman Hikes with a K. TikTok, Catwoman Hikes with a K. Instagram, also Catwoman Hikes, but I almost never post there. I keep forgetting it exists. But yeah, it would help me a lot if you could follow this channel and let me know what you want me to talk about. Any questions, ask. Anything else you want to know or suggestions, put them in the comments below. So, until next time, live, love, hike.